Did we lose Marquise? I didn't dry my hands all the way.
No, listen up. They're not conservatives. They're not liberals. They're equal opportunity haters. It's time for Rants In Our Pants with Dawn. That's my secret.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
And we're back. Let's go on to some happy news, shall we?
Okay.
So, as you know, in now 3 weeks from today, I will officially be joining the Married Club. I don't know if I want to applaud that. I really don't know if I want to applaud that, but it's been a definite adventure so far. I mean, with everything going on with the pandemic, we've had to change our plans so many times. And I know there are other couples that either had to postpone their weddings altogether or just delay them a little bit. But I can honestly say, you and I talked briefly on Facebook Messenger. You said it doesn't feel real until you get that marriage license in your hand.
That's true.
I'm not even going to lie. That is true. Very, very true, especially considering all the things we had to do to get it.
Right.
Now, you said it's easy. At the time, there wasn't a pandemic.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sure that it's much harder. I mean, when Andre and I did it, we had to fumble around a bit with the birth certificates. Like, I had to go all the way to Oakland County to get mine because I was born in Oakland County. But
Right.
she was born in Washington County. So her mom, had hers. Of course, her mom had hers. My mom did not have mine. So I had to, make a travel.
Well, I had to get a birth certificate anyway because I got to get that little gold star for my driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this was an adventure because I don't know what possessed neither myself or Amanda. If you have to make an appointment to go to the Secretary of State,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what possessed us to think that we wouldn't need one to get a birth certificate.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to make an appointment.
Yes.
Nice.
But wait, the whole story. To quote Amanda, this story is how Karens are born.
Oh, God.
Okay. So just hang on to your hat for this. So we get all the way down there. I took a day off to do this. And first we go in the wrong door. They said, "Oh, you here for birth certificate?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Next door." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So we go and pull on the door, even though there's a sign right in front of my goddamn face that says you have to knock for entrance. That should have been my first clue.
Mm-hmm.
So I knock on the door, and the sheriff opens up and goes, "Do you have an appointment?" I look at Amanda. I go, "No, we're just here for a birth certificate." And he goes, "You got to make an appointment. Follow the instructions on the sign next to the other sign." I'm like, "Okay." So we get on there, sure enough, they have no appointments for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week. So I'm like, okay. Now I'm upset. Like I told you, she got into a car accident. This was just like another layer of icing on the shit cake. So I'm trying to calm her down. I said, "This is not impossible. I'll just make an appointment. I'll take a half day from work and we'll do this again." So sure enough, I made an appointment for the first half, which was the birth certificate, and then the second half, which was 2 hours later for the marriage license.
Yeah.
Get it one shot. Okay.
Because you're downtown, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, for those who are listening, Dearborn is in what county, Krista?
It is in Wayne County.
And which county is Detroit in?
Wayne County.
Okay, please remember that. So, make the appointment. Week goes by, we go back. Now, mind you, I had 20 minutes to spare for the first appointment. Thank God. Because we get in there and no one tells us we have to stop at a little podium to fill out a form before we go up. So we go up. We notice that the sign says they're out to lunch. really and literally and figuratively. Won't be back till 1. I look at my clock, it's 12:55. I'm like, no problem. We're 20 minutes early, no problem. And all of a sudden this woman comes out. She goes, are you here for the county clerk's office? And I said, yes, ma'am. We got an appointment 1:15. She goes, did you fill out the form? I go, I put in an application online. She goes, oh, no, you got to fill out a form, sweetie. You got to come with me. Because she's the one that works the podium. So we go down there with her, and there's a whole bunch of people. Do you got an appointment? My boyfriend made the appointment. Okay, what time? I don't know. He made the appointment. Son of a bitch. So I'm thinking with all this nonsense, it's going to be even longer, and I'm going to miss my appointment because they have a thing there that says there's no grace period. If you miss your appointment, you got to redo the appointment. But the woman took pity on me because on the elevator ride back down, I told her this is the second time we came down here. We didn't know we needed an appointment the first time, yada, yada, yada. So she gave me the form, filled it out. She goes, okay, go right back up. Great. Well, thank you. Go back up, knock on the door. Sheriff lets us in. I give him my license, give him the form. And then we sit there. And as we sit there, this woman gets called up. Oh, you're the walk-in. Okay, come on over. We both look at each other, and I'm like, did you just hear what I heard? She goes, yeah, you mean we could have just told them we're walk-ins the first time? Been done and over with? It's like, are you fucking serious? But we let it go. Let it go. Now, I should back up and say that in the time that I limped from the parking structure to the first building, bear that part in mind too, I had been called sir 3 times. I was wearing a baggy polo, baseball cap, mask, no one can tell. So I just, at this state of my life, I just slough it off. So when the lady goes, Don, I didn't think she was calling me. But she's looking right at me going, Don. And I look side to side and go, She goes, yeah, you, Don, come here. I'm like, well, it's Dawn, but okay. So I get up there and she goes, do you know what hospital you were born at? I'm like, yeah, no. She goes, what do you mean? Yeah, no. And I said, well, I was a baby. They didn't tell me, I was kind of in the womb at the time. She goes, do you know what city you were born in? I go, Dearborn. She goes, you do know you're in Detroit, right? I go, yeah, this is the Wayne County Clerk office, right? This is where I was told to go. She goes, hold on. Takes my form, goes in the back. I sit back down, I look at Amanda and go, we're at the right building, right? So she comes back, goes, Don, come back here. I'm like, okay. She goes, I talked to my supervisor. We're going to send you to the Coleman A. Young building.
That's where you should have gone.
I was told to come to this building first. Don't ask me. I was following what they told me to do. So I'm like, well, great. 2 birds, 1 stone. I got to get my marriage license anyway. Now, I'm watching people come back and forth as this conversation is going, and they all have that blue paper, has the seal on it, or whatever. And I'm just thinking in my head, you guys, I'm not putting in one vital part. They verified that they have me on record. Okay? So she hands me the form, tells me to go to the Coleman A. Young building. It's a half mile down. I'm not about to get in my car and drive there. Fuck this shit. Limp from that building, half mile to the Coleman A. Young building.
What building were you at?
400 Brush Street. Or Monroe Street, I'm sorry. It's like a couple of buildings away from Fishbones.
Really?
Yeah. It's like literally almost right next to Fishbones. So we limp down there. And the first thing is you have to put all your stuff into a basket.
Yeah.
Because you got to go through them.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else they have down there now?
What?
You have to put your forehead in front of the screen. And it shouts a proclamation if you're normal or not.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, that's
that at a lot of buildings. Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's debatable. and you're ruining the punchline. Stop it.
Sorry.
So the woman goes, empty your pockets of everything. I go, everything? And she goes, everything. So I take out my wallet. Amanda has my keys. And then I take out this little cube. She goes, what's that for? And I go, take out the false tooth I have in my mouth to help the healing of the bone graft. Put it in and hand it to her. And she just looks at me and goes, passes it back to me. Go. I never had anyone literally take everything out and just dismiss me. Just go. And Amanda goes, kind of gave me a look, and I don't think she saw the whole interaction because I think she was still stuck with the other guy, but I'm just like, she said everything. So we go find the elevator, go upstairs, and we blitz past the second sheriff. He didn't stop us, which was kind of surprising. But I looked at her and go, after everything we've been through, maybe I should ask this guy if I'm supposed to be here. So I get up to him and he goes, do you have an appointment? I said, well, technically, no. And he goes, well, you have to. I'm like, hold on. We were over at the 400 Monroe building. They sent us over here to talk to a lady named Chantel because they said I have to be here to get all my stuff. And he's like, oh, just tell her you're fine. So we get in the line. And the lady comes out, takes all our stuff, goes back in. We finally get called in, and the lady, this other lady, gives us this receipt. She goes, okay, you just give it to the cashier, and then you wait over here. Now, while we're waiting, Amanda's being bemused by this young couple that's getting their marriage license. And you have to do an oath.
Hmm?
And I guess after they did the oath, the girl goes, does this mean we're married? She goes,
Oh.
no, sweetie, but not by any stretch of the imagination.
Boy, no.
So I go to pay the cashier, and the cashier goes, okay, so just the birth certificate. And I go, actually, it's for a marriage license, too. She goes, wait, what? I go, yeah, I'm getting my birth certificate and a marriage license. She's like, oh, boy, hold on. So she goes, talks to the lady. Now, mind you, they're not that far apart, but she has to literally get up and doot, 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 doot,
Yeah.
doot. And she's like, oh, that's right. There's a marriage license. Hold on. They have to redo the forms. Lady comes back. Instead of waiting for it, we're the only other ones in there besides that couple. So she gets the form, brings it to the other lady. She goes, okay, how are you paying, cash or by credit? Even though technically they'd say it's by cash only, but I go, credit. She goes, okay, I need your card and your driver's license. Like, she has it. Oh, son of a bitch! Gets my driver's license and Amanda's driver's license. Okay, give me your card. Hand her the card. Now we have to go over and get the license. And that's when my brain turned off. And I only remember one thing from the whole thing.
You don't remember anything?
I remember just certain parts. The only part I really remember is at the bottom, the officiant signs from this part up, and I have to sign the left side, and Amanda has to sign the right side, and it has to be in black ink. Otherwise, they probably will reject it.
Yeah.
So I looked there and go, so do we have to come back? She goes, no. You just get a cashier's check. And this is where I kind of checked out a little bit, because I'm still like, and I'm doing dead silence for a reason. That was going on in my head. But I read the thing afterward. You have to have a cashier's check, or I think a certified check, something like that. It can't be a regular check. That I do know.
For what?
When you send the thing back in the envelope.
What then?
The marriage license.
You're not
The
just gonna
the
take
two
them down?
copies. No.
Oh,
They said you got this done before COVID.
Oh, okay.
This is now after COVID.
Okay.
This is the whole new BC AC.
Okay.
Before COVID, after COVID.
I got it.
Okay. So you have to take the two forms. They give you 3 copies. The one you keep,
I know.
and then the other 2.
Yeah, I got it.
Shut up. Anyway, you mail that back with the certified check, or the cashier's check. And then they'll send something back, and that's that. If we want to change our name and submit it to the Social Security office, and we have to go back and get a new one, but we opted not to change our last names. So now, as we're, going through all this, I hear from Reverend Vaughn from Hell, Michigan saying, okay, we got you penciled in for 12 o'clock. You no longer have an exact hour inside the chapel. It's a half hour because they have to spend the second half hour pretty much sterilizing the place for the next couple. So basically the ceremony itself is a half hour and pictures if you want.
Well, yeah.
At the whole rule is everyone has to wear a mask until it's you may kiss the bride, and then you take the mask off.
And they take a picture of you for their website.
Right. And you kiss the bride, masks go back up. Everyone, the officiants and the officiant and the witnesses leave, and you can have somebody socially distanced take pictures afterward with the masks off.
Don't forget your lock.
I won't forget the lock. See what I mean?
I'm just reminding her.
Jesus. I'm going to call you Trump.
No, I'm just saying, don't forget the lock.
Okay, Donald. Anyway, the whole point is, now the only thing we got to worry about is making sure, one, everyone arrives on time so we can get there and be there in plenty of time because it's going to be packed. And what the fuck to wear. Now, I wanted to dress as Jason. I'm in hell, for God's sakes. Why not? It just stands to make sense. And Amanda's like, well, I'm not dressing as a counselor. I said, no one said you had to dress as a counselor. You dress how you want to dress. So I think she's going to be wearing a dress. And now I'm of the mind, well, should I arrive separate? Because I want to be shocked when I see her. Just that, and I still do it, don't get me wrong. But I just remember one of the first times she took her headband off, took her glasses off, was adjusting her hair, and I was just like staring, like no one can see, but my jaw was like dropped. And I was like smitten, like right there. But I'm just like of the mindset, everything I'm going to say is going to be thrown out the window. I know it. I'm going to take one look at her. I'm just going to be like, we need to end this now. I do. Why do you want to end it now? You really want me to go into verbal detail? Okay, you do. Get out of here. Go. Where's the lock? Throw it. Boom. Done. But I don't know. I want to say that if this whole pandemic hadn't hit, I think it would be a little bit more, nerve-wracking, I think, because we would have had to have planned the reception and all this other stuff. But to me, it's like we've been together 20 years. I just want it to be formalized, I guess. So like when you were saying, if something, God forbid, happens to myself or her, she has the legal right, or I have the legal right to be in that room.
Mm-hmm.
But
during COVID, they won't even let you.
Well, let's just hope neither one of us have it. I'm saying under other circumstances. Mm-hmm. Not that I've ever had a problem with having her in the room before, which is weird. But I don't know. It does seem surreal that we're finally going this legal step, but at the same token, it doesn't scream. I'll probably change my mind that day because I was like that for a commitment ceremony where I was just nervous as fuck. But I don't know. It just hasn't hit me like a ton of bricks yet.
Andrea was nervous.
Oh, I imagine. The day of or leading up to?
She was a nervous wreck the whole time. Like when we went and got our rings, yeah, it was starting to hit her then. Because we couldn't get the matching rings. We had to get different style rings.
Right.
So that...
Missing the thing?
My dad couldn't find hell. That was annoying.
Phrasing.
And then my dad couldn't find the restaurant because he's not familiar with Pickney. So, but he finally found it, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, it was just, you know, but my daughter was my witness, and then Layla, she was the additional witness.
Right.
But, you know, it's just the way it is.
So since you got married in hell last year, right?
Mhm.
Besides getting there early, obviously.
Yeah, you want to get there early.
Any tips? Anything I need
Make sure
to
you take a change of shoes.
change of shoes?
Because when you walk, have you been there? Have you
I've
ever
been there
walked-
many times.
Have you walked to the chapel though?
Yes.
Okay. When it's especially this time of year, the grass, I mean, I don't think that they've changed it. I haven't been to hell since the pandemic. The grass. So you walk from the driveway to the chapel, it's all grass and like muddy grass. So if you're wearing a certain type of shoe,
Right.
you want to make sure, for real, that it's not super duper muddy back there, because you won't even really realize that you'll sink into the mud grass. It's muddy grass back there. It gets really saturated back there really quick.
You're talking behind the chapel.
No, I'm talking to the chapel.
Oh, to the chapel.
From the parking lot to the chapel.
Okay.
And get saturated and be muddy saturated. So it's like muddy grass. So you want to be careful. It's almost like carry your shoes with you that you're going to wear into the chapel. If it's especially
Well, if I'm
rain-
dressed as Jason, I mean,
I understand that, but I'm talking about Amanda. Like,
Oh, yeah.
she, you know, she's wearing a nice dress shoe. She definitely doesn't want to.
so the one place that you and Andrea got your pictures, I think was near a river, or even
It's
to the
right there.
even the locks. Do you have to go down like an embankment or anything?
It's right. It's like you walk out of the chapel and it's right to the right. And then that river, like you saw the picture where it's the river.
Mhm.
It's so you do the lock on that little bridge, and then when you turn, it's the river's right there. That's where we threw our key in.
Now, see, that's the one thing I was wondering about.
It's a
Oh, no.
Embankment.
What I mean is, since we're not exchanging rings because we got the tattoos, we're thinking, what can we exchange besides vows? I'm supposed to put the ring on her. She's supposed to put the ring on me. I thought,
get fake rings.
what if we just gave each other the key? Usually a lot of locks come with 2 keys.
Yeah,
Why don't we just exchange the keys?
that'll work.
Or, I don't know, I could give her something of meaning. Let's
Yeah, you
see.
can do that too.
Trying to think what would be something of, because the only thing that really means a lot to me is her.
Yeah,
I can't exchange her.
you guys could just exchange vows. You guys already have the tattoos. A lot of people just exchange vows. I know my vows to Andrea were hilarious.
What did you say? I gotta hear this. I gotta hear this.
In a nutshell, I told her, I would be there for her and take care of her and this and this. And at the very, that we met each other 20-something years ago. And that it finally took that long for us to connect with each other. So some of it was sappy. And then at the very end, I said, and I promise that I will always make sure that your socks are clean. Because this girl always is losing socks. Always losing her socks and can never find anything. I swear to God. It's like, babe, I can't find a shirt to wear, babe. It's like, goddamn, open your eyes. Just open your fucking eyes. I've never met anybody that cannot dress themselves ever like her. And I've got a toddler and I've got kids. I'm like, goddamn it, I'll get up and find something to fucking wear. I've never met anybody that can dress themselves like her. Babe, I can't find this. Open your fucking eyes. Just open your fucking eyes. That's what my marriage is like. Me telling my wife to open her fucking eyes.
And wasn't she for the longest time when you had the ring doing this?
Do I got my ring on?
No. You got something else on, though.
No, that's old. That's gotta go.
Well, just find someone to tattoo something
No,
different.
I mean, like, because she's, like my business. So the state of Michigan decided that I gotta hang the labor law shit that businesses have to hang.
Right.
They decided to really hit me with that shit this year. Hardcore hit me with it. So $120 later, I have to hang the labor law. Now, mind you, it's just me. It's just, I'm my business. But they don't give a shit. Michigan doesn't give a shit. And with the labor laws is COVID.
Yes. Gee, I can't imagine
So
why.
for 2021, the labor laws that a business, regardless of the business, is supposed to hang on the wall for everybody to see. And I've got to hang it. So when we buy a house, that's got to hang on the wall wherever my business is. And of course, they wanted to throw in a freebie, so the COVID part of the labor laws is free. I'm like, gee, thanks, state of Michigan, you're really fucking awesome. The state of Michigan hits you for everything when you have a business. That's why, Donald Trump saying, I'll just hold off on this stuff. But yeah, so like with the business, Andrea is my right hand. So when she says I can't find this. I can't find the scissors. Right. That's my marriage. So a year later, we're doing great. We've been married a year.
That's because you keep saying it's right there.
Open your fucking eyes. Now I have a 2-year-old though. So now I have Andrea and a 2-year-old. They're like two peas in a pod. Well, both of you just shut the fuck up and open your eyes. I can't spank Andrea, but I can spank.
Well, you can spank her. I mean, there's no rule that says you can't.
Standing on the back of the couch, and I'm like, get the fuck off that couch.
I honestly don't foresee anything changing after the vows. I really don't. I think for us, I don't want to say it'll be back to business as usual, but it'll just be a little bit more impactful. I mean,
yeah, that happened with us too. I mean, we love being together. That we love going out to eat. I'm so I like being very repetitive. Mm-hmm. So I like doing the same thing, so if you switch up my game, I'm like, ooh. So
basically you live for the routine.
I'm very routine. It's because of the OCD factor that I have. So if you switch up my thing, I'm like, I turn into a rabid squirrel.
I foresee just only one change only, really, and I could be wrong, but it could be taxes. How do we file?
God, yeah, the first year taxes is brilliant.
I don't think we're filing jointly. I haven't really sat down and thought about it too much. I think we've talked about it ever so briefly, but I know as a couple, I think you generally get more back, but then it comes to the, well, how do you spend it factor?
You save it.
That's part of me, what I would be thinking.
Yeah.
A good chunk of it,
you
put into saving.
One person that wants to save it, one person that wants to spend it.
Well, I can't say that's totally what we are, because I think both of us would put at least an effort to equally put in for saving. But I can also see, especially, with everything that went with her car and all that stuff, putting it toward getting it repaired, or if something needs to be done around the house, like, the porch step is a little loose, maybe getting somebody to fix it, that sort of thing.
Like Andrea, if she gets money, it burns a hole in her pocket. So I got money, I gotta spend it, and I'm like, maybe we should stash that. So I'm the stasher. She's the casher. You would think that was the opposite, wouldn't you? I am a huge stasher. She's like, where did you get that $100 from? I'm like, wouldn't you like to know?
I can honestly say Amanda is definitely not that type, only because she really busted her ass to save up for a down payment for that Tesla. I mean, when she told me in the time that she did it, how much she set aside, I was astonished.
Yeah, I'm a stasher.
I mean, it just blew my mind, especially with all the stuff that she has. When it comes to budgeting, I would put more faith in her than an accountant.
Yeah.
But me, on the other hand, I'm just like this. I don't take a running physical tab, like I don't write it down in a book or nothing. I do things mentally. Like I will check every day what my account says.
Yeah, that's Andrea.
But and usually it says, you broke, you poor, go away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. As it gets closer, it's starting to weigh a little heavier, but it's just not right now where I'm like, I'm more focused on what Halloween movie are we watching tonight?
I haven't started that yet. I mean, I have, but I haven't. Like Pet Cemetery was on, and then on cable, the new Pet Cemetery. Have you seen the new Pet Cemetery?
No. I thought me and her should revisit watching Pet Cemetery, the original, because I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, no.
Zelda is so creepy.
Okay, please explain this to me, because the last time I saw it, I was a senior in high school.
Pet Cemetery?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was that long ago.
Wow.
And
I watch it all the time.
Amanda said the same thing, that the Zelda character is creepy. It was one of the scariest. By the way, did you know that was a dude?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
It was a dude that played the character. But the thing is, she said the same thing, that was the scariest thing for her in the movie.
It is kind of standoffish. You're kind of put off by Zelda. Zelda has always been one of the creepiest characters, I think, in horror movies I've ever dealt with.
Please explain why, because I've seen clips like in like the scariest movie moments and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, she's creepy looking, but I don't see anything.
The voice and the posture of her and how she comes at you, Rachel. I think it's just all of it, just because you're seeing, even though it's a real physical ailment, what she has wrong with her, you've never really seen anybody look like that with that physical ailment.
Wasn't it scoliosis that she had?
Scoliosis and something else. And so to see her with her spine showing like that, and she's got the head and the hair and the eyes all freaked out, and she's like, Rachel! And
okay.
And I mean, we just watched it the other day, and I'm like, God damn, that Zelda. And she doesn't freak me out now as much as when I was younger. When I was younger, I was like, oh.
Gage creeped me out more than the fucking Zelda character, especially the first the slicing, then the slice of the Achilles heel,
really?
And then the biting of the throat. That got me more than anything.
Zelda freaks me out more than the Evil Dead chick in the basement. Like, I can watch all of
the one that they're coming to get you.
Like the freaky chick in the basement. Like, Evil Dead is a walk in the park for me. But Zelda,
the original or the remake?
The original.
Okay.
Yes, screw any remake. I watched Evil Dead the first time when I was 9 years old.
Okay, Amanda. I'm trying to remember when she first watched Psycho. I think she was 4.
And Evil Dead back then, you're talking in the 80s. You're talking when it first came out. Like, it was when I was 10. I had to watch it when it first came out, like right around when it came out. And you're talking in a basement with, some girlfriends when you were young, and a slumber party, and your friends, let's watch this horror movie.
Turn out all the lights.
Yeah, and you're like watching the freakiest of the freakiest horror movies, and it definitely gets to you. And now you watch it and you're like, walk in the park.
Well, that was me when. Do you remember Count Scary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he I can't remember what his real name was, but he used to be a DJ on one of the local Detroit stations here, WOMC, or long time ago. But he used to do Shocktober, where during the week,
I remember that.
Every day, every night for that week, it was a horror movie. And I remember being a kid and watching the cut version of Friday the 13th.
I remember that.
In the dark, all alone in my bedroom on a little black and white TV. Yep. And when he fucking popped out of the water for a week after, I'm looking under the freaking dresser. Just freaked the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And now I can watch and just be like, cool.
Yeah, I don't get fazed by that.
Are there any movies that you can think of in recent history that got you?
Mm-mm.
Nothing that just jumped out, pardon the pun, jumped out at you?
Mm-mm. No, I'm immune to all of them.
I can only think of one.
Desensitized is the word.
I can only think of one.
What?
It's on Netflix, or I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's a movie called.
Netflix, I'll find it.
It's called Creep.
I've seen that.
That actually got me a
And-
couple of times.
And I keep passing by it. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. It's got a weird dude face or whatever. I think I've seen it. And I keep saying to Andrea, dude, we gotta watch that. Nah, it looks stupid.
It's actually way better than you think. I mean, it's a little predictable, but it had me hooked.
Really?
It had me hooked. I thought it was really good.
Really?
But everyone has different,
Yeah.
tastes and what they
Because, like,
enjoy.
I'm desensitized, and Andrea is like maybe 70%.
70% desensitized,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, like sometimes she'll be like, "That was so stupid," but it kind of fucked me up. And I'm like, "Well, did it fuck you up, or was it stupid?" It's just as stupid, but that kind of got me. Okay then.
Now, let me just ask you a question, because this is one I'm debating if me and Amanda want to actually watch.
Okay, with it.
Because she's seen it. We've seen it in different lists of horror movies and stuff, and she's like, it wasn't that good. I'm like, was it Blair Witch bad? She goes, kinda, yeah.
What was it?
The Changeling.
Oh, that's not that bad, but it is.
I heard it's a slow starter.
It's slow. It's slow. It's slow. So, I mean, I wasn't that big. I wasn't a fan of it, but I mean,
I think if you get the opportunity, you don't have Shudder, do you?
no, I don't. But I can get it.
Yeah, you can get a 7-day. You can get a 7-day free trial and
I
all
can
that.
get anything.
But if you get Shudder, look up In Search of Darkness.
Oh,
The sequels just went out on sale. It's a little pricey for my taste, but you never know.
So, like,
Dear Santa.
I watched Meg for the first time. I was laughing my ass off.
Meg?
Like, this is so funny.
The fuck is Meg about?
Meg is like a Jaws type thing.
Oh! It's about the Megalodon.
Meg, yeah.
Okay, I'm like a bitch. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But if you watch that, it's 4 hours long.
Oh.
So you can watch it in brackets, I guess. But
Mhm.
it's basically about all of, not all of it, because they did make a sequel to touch on more of them. But it touches on a lot of the decade of when horror, in their opinion, and kind of like in my opinion, when horror was really like, whoa,
Good.
really good.
And not this bullshit they're putting out. They're not putting out good shit. They're really not.
I don't know. I heard really good reviews about Invisible Man.
Oh,
No?
it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
What about
It's so stupid. Do you remember the Julia Roberts movie where she had to run away from her husband that was beating her?
Yeah.
What the hell is that movie called?
Oh my God.
Okay, so do you remember the movie I'm talking about?
It wasn't called Oh My God.
Okay, but do you remember?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So so think of that movie and then
Thrown in the Invisible Man.
and then
Because I saw that one scene where they're at the restaurant and she is talking, I think it was her sister.
Mhm.
And it happens so fast that they set it up like she sliced her sister's throat and she didn't.
Yeah, so think of the Julia Roberts movie, only the husband.
Sleeping with the Enemy?
Yeah, that's it. So think of Sleeping with the Enemy, only add that the husband can kill himself, make himself invisible using a really cool device.
Wait a minute,
And
but
then
he's dead.
Right. He dies, supposedly.
Oh.
And then makes himself invisible to taunt the girl and make herself look crazy.
Well, that'll fuck you up.
Yeah, it's not that, like, I watched it going, are you fucking kidding me right now? I just spent $20 on this movie. So
Okay,
I was
so
pissed.
let me get your opinion on something because I saw this on Twitter.
Okay.
All right. And I also saw this in another documentary. Oh my God, The Rise and Fall of the Slasher Flick.
Okay.
But the question was, do you consider The Silence of the Lambs to be a horror film?
It's a psychological movie. So it's a psycho film.
It's not a horror film,
I don't think so.
even though there's a guy killing and skinning women
No, it's still a psycho film.
and a cannibal.
No, still a psycho film. I don't. categorize it as a horror.
Isn't the I
It's
think
a-
the term
it's
you're
like
looking for here is a psychotic
psycho-
thriller.
It's a psycho thriller. So yeah, psycho thriller.
But you don't think that's a subgenre of horror?
It is. It is.
So then it's a horror
Because
flick.
It's a psycho thriller. So they are categorized in a categorization of thriller.
So doesn't that
Horror, but they're not thrasher horror, because there's all these categorizations of horror. So
Right.
you're putting it in a categorization of horror as a psycho thriller.
Well, that's just like a Shudder. They have the psychologicals, they have the slashers, and then they just have stuff that they
So
put out.
I believe Hannibal Lecter movies are psycho thrillers.
So a horror
They're
film.
not- They're in the horror genre, but they're
If it's
not-
in the genre, it's classified as.
Right. But if you were to actually say to somebody, hey, I believe Silence of the Lamb is not technically horror slasher film. But
Well, you can honestly say it's not a romantic comedy.
no, but if somebody was to go, oh, I would love to watch Silence of the Lambs, but I'm not a huge horror buff, then you would say, okay, it's a psychological thriller. Because then they wouldn't be, oh, I'm not a big horror buff. Okay, bitch, and then it's a psychological thriller.
Well, that's just saying, I don't like vanilla pudding. Well, okay, here's non-chocolate pudding.
Right.
It's the same fucking thing.
I tell people a lot of times that these movies are psychological thrillers because a lot of times movies are psychological thrillers. Just so happens Buffalo Bill likes skin.
Literally.
Literally. Put the lotion in the basket, bitch.
Or else you get the hose again.
Yeah. I've been putting that on my Facebook.
And Hannibal Lecter just happens to have a unique diet, extreme keto.
But you're not really seeing him do that per se until Hannibal. Hannibal now, I would call Hannibal, that movie, a
More
Or-
leaning on.
horror psycho thriller. I would kind of categorize that one as a blood guts horror thriller type.
I would have
Because-
liked them to have done the original ending in the book for the movie, but I can understand why they didn't.
Well, didn't they do that? Well, then they did the prequel.
Yeah, but the original ending for Hannibal was and you're are you talking about Hannibal Rising or
No.
just
that's
this?
not it.
Okay. The original ending for Hannibal was Clarice joins him. She joins
Oh,
Hannibal.
Yeah.
And I kind of see why they didn't do that in the movie, but
Well,
I think it would have been a better ending, I think, if she just would have joined them.
yeah.
But they I guess went a different way, made it a little bit more romanticized, I think, because Hannibal clearly cares for her in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I technically did not watch Hannibal Rising because
I'll say it for you. Don't.
I
It was
just
okay, but
knew. I just knew. But I did watch the what was it?
Red Dragon?
Red Dragon.
which version?
I watched.
There's Manhunter, which is technically Red Dragon, and then there's
No,
Red
I
Dragon.
watched Red Dragon.
I liked Red Dragon. It's an unpopular one, but I kind of liked Red Dragon more than I liked the original with Manhunter, which had the guy who played Grissom in CSI as the agent,
Oh.
and it had, oh my god, I know his name's Brian, but he played Hannibal. He didn't do a bad job.
Yeah.
But once you've seen Anthony Hopkins in the role, it's really hard to go to the original,
Right.
which this was done before Anthony Hopkins took up the role. But
I did like Red Dragon.
yeah, Red Dragon I thought was pretty good. I'm trying to think.
And see, like those movies, technically, I don't like those movies. They show them around Halloween time, but
Now, do you want to hear something crazy? You really want to hear something nuts?
okay.
Okay, so me and Amanda every now and then will do what I call a second chance movie.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Movies we didn't really like the first time around,
I do that. Yeah.
and we're going to give it a second look. We recently did it with Paranormal Activity.
Oh God.
I didn't finish watching the movie the first time because I thought it was boring as fuck. To me, there was really no substance to it. Saw it the second time. I will say, and I went all the way through, not as bad, but I don't get the hype.
No.
It still was boring. The only thing that was the gotcha moment was his ass hitting the camera, and that's the end of the movie.
At the end,
Yeah.
And that was the alternative ending. That wasn't the original ending.
What was the original ending? Spoiler alert.
Wait a minute. No.
Because he's dead, right?
That was the original ending. The alternate ending is better. So him hitting the camera is the original ending.
Okay.
The alternate ending to that movie is better.
What's the alternate ending?
Yes.
I mean, if it's better, I think you would remember this.
That's because I don't watch that movie ever. But the alternate ending is better. So if anybody has ever seen the alternate ending to Paranormal Activity, you know. Raise your hand. You know it's better. I just think it's better. Because I don't watch that. I've watched it like twice.
Well, here's the crazy thing.
Andrea made us watch like Paranormal 16, and we were sitting in those motion
Paranormal
chairs.
6. There's 16 of these.
I think we were watching like number 5.
Okay.
But we were sitting in those chairs that move with the motion of the.
They have those?
They do.
Okay.
And so you move with the movie, and so the guy was going down the stairs, and we were like, and I was like, this is the dumbest.
Well, they did that back in the 50s.
I was like, this is the dumbest fucking idea we've ever had. So it was bad. I don't even remember the movie because I felt like I was getting motion sickness from the fucking chair.
Well, the one I'm toying with going back and giving a second chance is the Blair Witch Project.
Don't do it. Don't you hate that fucking
I hate it with a passion.
Don't do it.
My views have legendarily cost me friends.
Do you like Blair Witch 2?
The Book of Shadows?
Yeah.
No.
Give that one
Even the one they showed a few years ago, they redid. It was they didn't redo it. I did, and it was to me like watching the original.
Well, then why are you doing it to yourself?
I want to see if I can enjoy it even a little. If maybe I'm trying to do this in a way where I want to see exactly if my
It's gonna be bad.
if my opinions are blinded by my hatred
It's
for my personal hatred because of we're not going to drag it up, but you know what I mean.
I know you're gonna hate it. You're gonna turn on for 5 minutes and be like, "Shut this motherfucker off."
Well, what if booze was involved?
That's gonna make it worse. Like you're probably gonna hit the fucking Facebook or YouTube or something. I hate this fucking movie so bad. Brr.
Well, let me ask you before we wrap things up. Why do you think, honestly, that is like in the top tier of a lot of people's lists? Because me and you are big on horror, but we don't get it.
No, I don't get any of those motion. I know that there's a name for them.
That one's found footage.
That's right. They're found footage. But those moving around movies have a name. I can't think of what the fuck they are.
First perspective?
No, where they take the cameras and make.
I think it's under found footage.
Yeah. So those movies, and you remember Blair Witch and then Paranormal Activity came out around general time frames. And I think it was because no movies really were getting people excited except for like Saw.
Torture porn.
There was nothing out there for people to watch. So that's why Blair Witch was a big deal.
I think it was the marketing.
And yeah, because those movies only cost them like $5,000 to make.
I thought it was over 20. Either way,
it was really cheap to make these movies, and these people that made these movies made a butt ton of money.
Yeah.
for
I
nothing.
think Blair Witch still holds the record as being the most successful independent or cheaply financed movie ever
and
made.
then Paranormal was right behind it. They made a butt ton of money. And the thing is when you sit in the theater to watch these movies, it's the sound. The sound around you fucks with your head.
True.
It does. It fucks with your head because when you're watching Paranormal Activity in your house, you don't hear all of the sound.
Unless you got the surround sound
Unless you have
theater.
surround sound. But when you watch Paranormal Activity in the theater, you hear all the boom, boom, boom. You don't hear that shit at home. Well, if you don't have a surround sound or a sound bar or shit like that, you don't hear none of that shit.
Well, we do. So we had it on. So I still didn't get it.
Okay.
I just sat there going, it's okay, but I don't get the
You
hype.
also are not a fan of The Other Side.
The Other Side. Ghost movies?
Just of The Other Side in general.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with that because
you're
I saw
cut off from the spiritual side of stuff. Too. I mean, so if I said when we were talking about
keep going. Eloise?
Yeah, when we were talking about Eloise.
I still want to go.
You do, but you are not
okay
100% open to what Eloise
what's
going on.
No, I said I always have questions. I'm always of the skeptical mind that there's somebody around the corner that's doing the knocking or someone that's closing the door.
And so,
I want to experience it for myself.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm closed off to it.
You're just very skeptical.
Exactly.
And so
but
with a skeptical mind,
I've also seen other movies that are in the same vein, if you will, that I really enjoyed, like Hell House LLC. I really enjoyed that one. And a couple other like ghost-like movies I've enjoyed. I just didn't understand, and maybe I've been a little mean-spirited in my critique of the movie and some of the people that enjoy it. But honestly, I don't understand how this movie, and again, and I know I've said this to the point where it drives people nuts, but I'm a person who can't see these movies in a theater without an anxiety attack, without getting the extreme fight or flight mode engaged. Yeah. And if it didn't even stir that in me, is there something wrong with me, or is there something wrong with these people that they scare that easily?
Well, people should not scare that easily.
But it's such a successful movie. I just want to see what I'm missing. I'm like that guy in Mallrats who keeps staring at the picture, wanting to see the sailboat. Everyone else sees it, but he doesn't.
Like when I go to see Saw in a movie theater and shit's going on, I'm like, yes! Like I'm the only one going, yeah!
You're the one going,
that's fucking awesome! Like,
did you see the way that head exploded?
I'm that person that's like, that's fucking awesome. When everybody else is like, oh my God, that's so fucking disgusting. I'm not that person. I'm the person cheering that shit on. So I guess there's different ways how people view different movies. So.
Right. I mean, I know I got a lot of shit for it, but I remember did you ever see Event Horizon?
Yes.
Okay. I tried to watch it, but I fell asleep. Not because the movie was boring. I was tired. I started watching it. I got comfortable. Next thing you know, credits. I'm going to give that one a second chance.
Yeah.
But I got shit for it because it was deemed that I found it boring. No, I was tired.
No.
I couldn't review something I didn't technically watch.
Yeah, that's true.
But my idea of a good horror flick, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that was kick-ass. Or like one of my two favorite kills of all time, ironically, yes, I know, how funny is this, are from Friday the 13th movies.
Okay.
One was the one kill where he dips the head in the what is that stuff that freezes you instantly?
I know what you're talking about. Liquid
nitrogen.
Yeah.
Puts the face in liquid nitrogen and bashes it.
Oh,
that is my favorite kill of all time. Of all time. Followed not too closely, or very closely, by the unrated Part 9, which is a very unpopular one, kids, if you pay attention. Jason Goes to Hell. The unrated, the tent spike and splitting up.
Yeah.
that when I first saw it, I'm like, damn.
Yep. That's
That-
actually a good one.
That was an awesome one.
Yeah,
But those are my types of movies. I'm more of into the slasher genre
I am too.
than the other ones. But I don't know. I just want to. I know I'm probably going to hate it, but I just want to try one more time, just to see
Well, see if you can see the witch at the very end.
the witch.
Mhm.
Oh, the Blair. You can't see her at the very end.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
How?
She's in the building.
Well, duh. Who do you think hits her in the head and the camera falls over? You don't see her though.
You can see her.
No, you don't.
And Blair Witch?
Yes,
Yes, you can.
the original.
Mhm.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. I'm telling you, if you look good enough, you can actually see the body. Yes, you can.
The body of the Blair Witch.
You can see an image of the Blair Witch at the very end. Yes, you can. If you watch the movie,
Why does it sound like Abbott and Costello? No, you can't. Yes, you can. If I see the movie,
when you watch it, watch
Okay.
it good enough.
all
At
right,
the very end,
before or after she hits the ground?
in the building,
In the building. Before or after she hits the ground?
who hits the ground?
The fucking broad.
No, it's at the very end, and you see the camera go like this.
When she hits the ground,
Yeah,
right?
when she
Thank
hits the
you.
ground. When the girl hits the ground, the camera goes like this. You see the witch. You see a body at the wall. Telling you,
That's Josh.
no, it's not.
No, not Josh.
The guy is already. There's nobody else but the girl.
And the guy in the corner.
That's not the guy in the corner. That's the witch.
Do you see what I deal with?
That's the witch.
Okay. Well, we'll do that as my homework for the next show, which we're going to do nothing but horror unless something really bad happens.
Well,
Maybe.
you should probably watch the Pet Cemetery.
We probably will. But anyway, that's been the show. Join us in 2 weeks. We're going to go all Halloweeny, maybe talk more wedding.
Oh, Halloween.
Halloweeny. Anyway, I've been Dawn.
I'm Krista.
That's been Cortez. And until we see you in 2 weeks, keep your rants in your pants.